It's road race season in Falmouth when the champions come to town, and thousands of amateur athletes who live here get to feel like champions. This year brings a special anniversary, 50 years of the wheelchair race. It's a golden anniversary for adaptive athletes on Falmouth in Focus, and it starts right now. Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus. I'm Michael Kasparian.
And I'm Eileen Preston. It was back in 1975 that Bob Hall requested a bib to complete the Falmouth road race in a wheelchair. He was an adaptive athlete with polio, who would later become known as the father of wheelchair racing. Hall went on to win 8 times at Falmouth and was instrumental in developing the modern racing wheelchair through his company, Hall's Wheels.
The sheer number of able-bodied runners taking part in the 53rd running of the Falmouth Road Race can sometimes overshadow the attention that's due to the wheelchair athletes celebrating a 50th anniversary milestone. And so we're taking a moment to consider these top-of-the-line athletes and Paralympians. Here's an overview from FCTV's Ryan Weber.
The wheelchair division attracts elite athletes from around the world that compete in the 7-mile course. Paralympic, world, and national champions have all come to our seaside community to race each August. What started in 1975 with one local athlete has grown to encompass an international field.
The Falmouth Road Race is synonymous with the start of wheelchair racing. In 1975, Bob Hall became an official entrant in the Falmouth Road Race after he reached out and the race directors didn't hesitate to welcome him to the field. That year, he began the race up front and started a revolution. Bob was the sole entrant in that first race, but that soon changed with athletes coming in from New England, New York, California, and eventually from around the world. To date, there have been 18 different men's champions, including Marty Ball, Mustafa Badid, and the late, great Jim Canard. 2 men are 8-time winners, Bob Hall and Craig Blanchett.
Well, the race was very intense. And, the fact that more people came to compete made it even more intense. And it was a real big curve of excitement over those years.
It was my first competitive national event that I had done that year, and it taught me a lot. I recognized that there was a high level of competition that I hadn't expected to be as high as it was. And that kind of challenged me to then do better because I knew that I could do better.
As technology changed and chairs weighed less and became more streamlined, times got faster. That initial chair was 47 pounds, where the racing machines of today are just under 10 pounds. Bob's inaugural time was 47:13, with the current record being more than 25 minutes faster at 21:23, set by Daniel Romanchuk in 2023. The women's division started in 1979, with Natalie Bacon being a pioneer and joining the race. To date, there have been 15 different women's winners, with Natalie Bacon winning 8, like Hall and Blanchett. There are 2 competitors who have each won 6 races, Jessica Galley and the phenomenal Candace Cable, who held the course record for an incredible 23 years. Her time of 28:20, set in 1991, wasn't broken until 2014 when Tatiana McFadden beat it by more than a minute with her time of 27:06. The current course record for women's division was set by Susanna Scaroni in 2023 when she set a blazing time of 24:38. As an organization, we are proud of our history of inclusion and being known as the race who welcomed wheelchair racers from the start in 1975. We are honored to have such a rich history filled with incredible racers, stiff competition with some extremely close finishes, and seeing all of the great relationships formed throughout the last 50 years.
I cannot believe we're at 50 years of wheelchair racing at Falmouth. That is a huge accomplishment. Being one of the oldest races in the country and bringing in racers year after year for 50 years, that's just truly amazing. I'm so glad to be part of some of those years and creating some awesome memories.
I absolutely love this course. My favorite part is racing alongside the ocean view. You don't get that very often in road racing. This race also holds a special place in my heart because it's where my grandparents met, and ever since then we have great family memories.
Today, the wheelchair division includes marathon champions and Paralympic athletes, including Tatiana McFadden, who has won 22 Paralympic medals, and Daniel Romanchuk, who was the youngest male to win the wheelchair division of the Boston Marathon and has 4 Paralympic medals. We also have several athletes who consistently return each year to compete in Falmouth, including Will Lear and Tony Noguera, who have both competed in over 25 races respectively, as well as Matt Davis, Mike Olson, and Gary Brendel, who all come to Falmouth each year. Falmouth has also been a race in which athletes who have raced in the beginning of their careers have gone on to do great things. We look forward to seeing what our younger athletes like Maddie Wilson and Delmas Mayo will do in the sport in the future.
One of the first things that I really noticed about that race and kind of sticks out in my mind was just the beautiful setting that it's in. Being out on the Cape, and it's just an amazing place to have a race. Unfortunately, you can't spend too much time sightseeing while you're racing, but it's just an amazing place to have a race.
Over the years, I've seen the race evolve in many amazing ways. It's been a pioneer and always treats the adaptive athletes as elite. And Falmouth has grown, but it's kept its soul, and that's rare and that's beautiful.
The 50th running of the ASICS Falmouth Road Race Wheelchair Division, presented by Compassionate Care ALS, continues the legacy that started with one local athlete and has now evolved to be one of the premier races on the athletes' summer schedules. We look forward to many more years of the Wheelchair Division.
FCTV's coverage of running ramps up around Falmouth Road Race season, but there's one FCTV member producer who stays on the running beat all year round.
All year round.
Juliana Coughlin received FCTV's 2024 Producer of the Year Award for her show, Runner. It's an ongoing conversation with standout personalities in Falmouth and beyond who bring knowledge and character to this region's sporting events.
This year, Juliana will be one of the thousands of able-bodied runners rounding that last curve in the heights that descends to the finish line. But we asked her to pull together some material from her program highlighting the athleticism of the wheelchair competitors. Here she is now.
I'm a runner because it connects me with the community. It really just makes me so joyful inside. I really love being able to get out there and be physically active and also get to do that with other people and be around other people who just, generally speaking, have a positive energy. It definitely makes me a happier person overall. Runner is how you pronounce runner if you're from Boston or Massachusetts in general. So, runner. So this year is actually the 50th running of the wheelchair division of the Falmouth Road Race. And it's also really significant too because it's actually the longest running of a wheelchair division in the United States. We are in front of the Boston Marathon. We are in front of all those other bigger, more prestigious quote unquote races, even though Falmouth I feel like is very prestigious. And a lot of other people would agree too, but it's the longest running wheelchair division out there, and we are celebrating the 50th year this year. I sat down with Matt Manchester, who is the director of the Adaptive Athletes Division at the Falmouth Road Race, and he had some really amazing things to tell us, not only about the 50th running of the wheelchair division, but also just being part of the adaptive athletes kind of experience in general, and just how little coverage they get and how little love they get from the general fans. And we had such a fun time, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy hearing from him about the adaptive athletes and also the 50th running of the wheelchair division.
The Falmouth Road Race was the very first road race in the United States to host a competitive wheelchair division.
I didn't know that.
Yep. 1975, Bob Hall contacted the race organizers and wanted to have an entry, and he did, and they gave him a bib. A lot of people dispute that, but we have the proof and whatnot. Boston.
There's photos, correct?
There's a lot of.
I've seen these photos.
There's a lot of proof. So Boston, he was in Boston, but they did not enter him into Boston in 1975. They said, we'll give you a certificate afterwards if you can complete it in under 3 hours. Falmouth entered him officially, put him up to the front, gave him his due, started it. So Falmouth was the first road race in the U.S.
That's right. We bring those adaptive athletes in. I think that's fantastic. I mean, as someone who's like, and I'm sure you're on the same boat as me, like definitely wants to make sure like running is for everyone. Like whether it's you are part of the volunteer squad, whether you're like physically running it with your feet or you're running it with your wheels, like it is part of, like you can be part of running.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the best part, I think, of the wheelchair division. I mean, these athletes don't want to be considered anything other than just athletes. They don't want to be considered an inspiration. They don't want to be, they just want to do the sport. Like that's why they want to be entered. And really, if you think about it, I mean, when they push down on the side of their wheels, it's basically the same thing as the motion of running, of pushing down on the ground.
So what exactly do you do in your position? Because like I said, I feel like a lot of people don't really know exactly what the adaptive division is and what it takes to kind of organize people who have slightly different needs than like your basic runners.
So it's a lot of logistics. It's a lot of kind of behind the scenes stuff. So like I focus on 3 major areas of the race. I focus on like your adaptive runners. Like I have some blind runners. I have runners with Down syndrome, different capabilities, and I help them get what they need on race day. So whether it be a guide, I provide guide bibs. Whether it be a little bit more time, I can do that for the runners depending on their needs. I also help organize the duo division. So that's if you think Rick and Dick Hoyt, the duo program this year is sponsored by the Hoyt Foundation, which is pretty awesome.
Oh, that's great.
It's just a perfect fit. So that's the one runner pushing one person in a chair. So I help organize that, and that's a whole nother ballgame of organizing where can they drop off, where can they load up, because they have different needs too. And then finally, the wheelchair division is kind of what I mostly focus on because it's the biggest out of the 3.
Yeah.
And so this year, like we're gonna have up to like 30 wheelchair athletes this year.
Okay.
But it's as I mentioned earlier, they are athletes that are viewed more as athletes than someone in a wheelchair. Like I've seen some crazy things. I mean, they've got such ability. Like I've seen some of them are like, oh, I don't want to wait for that lift to put me in the bus, and I'm just going to get out of my chair and lift up myself and go into the bus.
Oh, yeah.
They're very, very strong, very able. But still, that being said, there is a lot of considerations like hotel rooms. Like we need to make sure that we give them the accommodations they need. Busing, we can't just throw them on a normal school bus. Like I have to organize certain busing for that. Getting their racing chair to the start line because they don't race in their everyday chair. Like they have a special racing chair. A lot of things like that. So it's a lot of logistics of figuring out how to get these athletes what they need so they can compete and really have a great time.
It sounds like a lot of your job is like listening to the athletes and really hearing what they are telling you. And I feel like this is probably where you being a teacher really comes in handy and treating everyone as an individual.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, every athlete's different. I mean, like I said, what someone who is just starting out, and they all have different capabilities. Some are quads, some of them have, either lost their legs in an accident or something. There's all different stories, and listening to their needs and wants and whatnot, it's really a huge part of it. And like that was the beginning part of my career at the road race, was just like learning. Like it was just like, I didn't know anything about wheelchair racing, and now it's like I've helped out at the Boston Marathon in the wheelchair division. Like I've done all this different stuff, and it's really a cool sport, and I'm excited to kind of share that sport with more people and kind of bring more awareness around that this year.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome. And like challenging things wise, like what is the most like challenging thing that you either in general that you come across, and we can talk about like 2 or 3 different things if you'd like maybe like a recurring theme, and this could be something that's like external, like people's misunderstanding of the people you're working with, or like internal things where you're like, there was this one time where like someone had a chair that just like wouldn't fit in any car that we had.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple things. I would definitely say externally that something that just really bothers me is just the outside perception of the wheelchair division. Like I've had some people, like I've been riding in the car being like, well, they're cheating. And it's like, it's just so ignorant. I've heard people like yell that at people, like some of the wheelchair athletes, and it's just so
My stomach just like
disrespectful.
turned
It's
inside out. I'm
awful.
like, I hate that.
Yeah, I think it was in Boston when I heard that. Maybe it was I can't remember, but it was definitely a wheelchair division race when I was riding along with the lead, and it was unfortunate.
This is probably coming from someone who has never run 5 steps in their lives
Exactly.
or like wheeled five
Right.
feet. It's just like try it out, and then you
Absolutely.
can provide maybe
Yeah.
your feedback, but don't judge these people.
Oh my gosh, these people are unbelievable. Like, I mean, one of the stories I like to tell about just how unbelievable these athletes are is that back in 2021, when Boston got postponed into October,
Yep.
it created this just log jam of marathons in
Yeah.
October.
Yeah.
And there's a story of one of our course record champ, Daniel Romanchuk, doing like literally 3 marathons in 3 days. Like he went from
remember this,
yeah,
actually.
he went from
Yeah.
like New York to Boston to like London. Right? I can't remember what the progression was,
Yeah.
but like it's just the fact that he wants to do that out of love of the sport and pushing his own body and things like that. Like it's a lot. But in terms of just like things that like are really challenging with just the logistics of it,
Yeah.
I would definitely say the airport is a huge hard part for us because we have to get them down from Logan to Falmouth, whereas like, you know, a lot of the major marathons, they can just kind of hop on public transit.
Yeah, there's not a direct route from from Logan to Falmouth. I mean,
Right.
There's the Peter Pan bus, but that's not really
It's not
accessible for anyone
yeah,
in a wheelchair.
Yeah. So that's the case, and they also are bringing a separate wheelchair, and that's been a hard issue for wheelchair athletes for every race, really. Like
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, I had an athlete who just the airline lost his chair, so he couldn't compete. He was here in Falmouth, but he couldn't compete.
That's like nightmare fuel right there.
Right.
This poor person.
Right, and it's not like a normal runner where it's like you can just go to the run house and
And
get a
get
new
new
pair of
shoes.
shoes. Like
Yeah,
this,
no one has your specialized,
this
like
chair is
highly
like-
specific chair.
Yeah, this chair is like $20,000 and it's made for you, and it's like that's been pretty challenging sometimes. Like I mean, it hasn't run into too many issues with that, but it has happened a lot in the sport.
So now that we've heard from Matt about like what goes on behind the scenes and why you should root for the adaptive division of the Falmouth Road Race, let's get into one of the athletes that is really just a superstar in her own right. That's Maddie. Maddie is one of the longest time running athletes at the Falmouth Road Race for the wheelchair division, and also one of the youngest. Not the youngest, but one of. And you all might know her from her bright pink wheelchair that she has run in since she was 7. I was really excited to talk to Maddie after hearing just little bits and pieces about her. So we were able to connect over Zoom, and I was able to get a little one-on-one time with Maddie to interview her about what it's been like being part of the Falmouth Road Race wheelchair division since the age of 7 years old. How many years have you been running the Falmouth Road Race so far?
Yeah, so this will be my 10th year this year.
How old are you, Maddie?
I'm 16,
So your first time you ran this, you were 6?
7, yeah.
7 years old. What was it like competing in a big road race like the Falmouth Road Race, being 7 years old?
Oh my God, it was pretty cool. I mean, you know, being so young, I mean, it was kind of like an experience that, you know, I never really thought was gonna happen.
Now, do you have any goals for this year's race, Maddie?
I don't know. I wanna get a PR this year. That's my goal. I mean, I wanna
Ooh.
try to get under 40 minutes. That's kind of my
Where does your current PR stand right now?
41:26 or
That's
41:27, something like that.
That's
Yeah.
still very fast. That's very fast.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite distance that you like to run?
I like longer distances. Like,
Ooh, okay.
you know, I've done 3 half marathons.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Mhm.
I definitely did not run a half marathon when I was your age, so kudos to you, my friend, for
Yeah.
taking on these big goals. I think
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Mhm.
Do you want to like follow Tatiana McFadden's footsteps and maybe like go to the Olympics one day?
My biggest goal is to do the Boston Marathon when I turn 18.
Ooh, oh yeah, because they have an age limit on that. That's a little bit
Mhm.
older, don't they?
Mhm.
Yeah, so 2027, everyone look out for that bright pink wheelchair coming
Look
down the
out.
Boston Marathon finish line.
I actually don't have my pink chair anymore. Well, I do have my pink chair
Oh.
still. I don't use it anymore though. I grew out of it about
Oh,
I don't know how many years ago. It was a few years ago though.
Do you plan on getting like another like bright pink chair? Because that was kind of like your thing for a little bit there.
It was, and I mean, I feel like everybody kind of knew me in the pink chair because but I have, it's like a greenish, yellowish chair now that I have. It's pretty bright. Let's just say that.
What do you like the best about Falmouth specifically? If I told you why should people come down here and run the Falmouth Road Race? Like, why is it cool to be able to do that? What would you tell me? How would you convince me to come run the Falmouth Road?
I like running on the ocean. I think that, just seeing like the sights around me is really good, and just like seeing like being able to, fly down the beach. It's a really good experience.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. And you get like a really good, I feel like it's very unique, just with the scenery plus the crowds too.
Yeah.
Now, are you someone who likes having the crowds cheering for you, or you don't?
I love the crowds. I love it so much. Yeah.
I think that's great. Falmouth has really fantastic crowds.
I feel like it's just a motivator. Like, it just motivates you to do better.
I totally agree with this too. I am like someone who just likes to suck in the energy of the crowd and really just like gets jazzed up by people cheering for me. So I totally can identify with that. Maddie, do you have any thoughts or feelings that you might want to like share with people who are running Falmouth this year, or things that you really love about running the race?
I mean, I think some things for people, just kind of go out and enjoy it. I mean, it's a really cool experience to, run out on the beach, and, people don't get to experience, like, I feel like they don't get to experience that all the time. So, I mean, really kind of take it in and just enjoy the experience.
Yeah, I think that's some really good advice right there. This community is one that I am so enthusiastic about year round. And if you're jazzed up just like I am and you think that you would be great on my podcast and my show, I would absolutely love to have you. If you would like to share your story, please reach out to me at runapod@gmail.com. And I can't wait to hear what your story is and why you choose to run.
Eileen, Juliana's program has really taken off on FCTV. And to the people watching right now, it's a great example of how if you have a passion, a project, something you want to share with others, you can come in and be a member producer and create your own content for everyone else to see and to share with the rest of Falmouth.
She's got an awful lot of viewers, so kudos to Juliana. And let's just take a moment and be amazed for a moment at these wheelchair runners that just whip through the town on fire. And maybe that's why they don't get as much sort of spotlight, is because they do whip by so fast. But it's so hard. It's so hard. I just can't imagine. And the few times that I've run it, it's so hot. It's immense. It's an immense thing that they do.
I know. And for you, it must be hard when you're up there with those elite runners, of course, right? And then, of course, the wheelchair race takes off first.
Yeah.
But, it is really amazing. And the nice part about it is, of course, it's inclusive. So anyone who really wants to participate are able to. And because this is just such a treasure of Falmouth. And in some ways, it kind of signals the ending of summer. But in other ways, it's a great way to highlight all the people that are coming to our town, to showcase our town. It's an immense source of pride for the entire town.
And a beautiful course, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's going to wrap up our show for the moment. I'm Eileen Preston.
And I'm Michael Kasparian. Until next time, we'll see you around town.